Can't believe it's still the winter. Can't believe that Formula One isn't back for another 8 weeks. I'm struggling to cope without Formula One. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's been a big miss in my life. But I've only got a couple of weeks to wait before the cars get launched, testing begins, and then we are back and up for business once again in Australia. But before we do that, we're just going to make some content, get through the winter as best and as fast as we possibly can. So today we are back with a brand new video and a brand new series, actually, or like a revamped series, you could say. We did have a series called F1 News Round, which we're now changing to called a series called F1 24/7, where we just look back at the news in Formula One that's happened in the past week. Digest it, just kind of give our quick initial thoughts. We're not going to go like too much into it. I'm just going to give my initial thoughts, what I think of it, move on to the next one. Some weeks it could be one topic, some weeks it could be 3-4 topics. It just depends what's happening during the week, because some weeks, there's nothing happening and there's very little we could talk about, but we'll try our very best. So every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time, you'll be able to see me and Lyle each week as we cover the news in Formula One. So now that's out the way with, let's jump into the first headline. And it comes from an article from Planet F1. Now, we'll be leaving links to these articles in the description below, just so you can go and read them for yourself. And of course, I'll give credit to the publicators, because none of these stories are from our original sources. And of course, other people write these topics, write these stories, and of course work hard to get this information. I don't want to take anything away from them, so I will be leaving links to every single news article in the description below. So the word on the street at the moment is that Lewis Hamilton is reportedly in advanced stages, and I quote, to sign a 2-year contract extension with Mercedes. Now, it's been rumoured that Lewis Hamilton could go either two ways in 2021. By the way, his current deal ends at the end of the 2020 season, so he's only got this season left with his current contract with Mercedes. People are saying he's either going to go to Ferrari or he's going to retire. Now, recently, I was adamant that Hamilton would be going to Ferrari and that Max Verstappen would be taking Lewis Hamilton's place at Mercedes. But Max decided to throw a spanner in the works and sign a 4-year extension with Red Bull till 2023. Yeah, cheers. Nice one, Max. Cheers for that. So that theory for me is now completely gone. I think Hamilton is probably Mercedes' best option to go forward, of course, with the new regulations coming in next season. I think Hamilton will want to have a go at that and see if he can do anything, win a title, win more races in that sense. Of course, a driver like Hamilton is essential in any kind of team, so Mercedes will be doing everything in their power to keep such a man. A reported 40 to 45 million euro deal is apparently soon to be agreed. So just before Christmas, we had long-term commitments from Charles Leclerc, who signed a deal for 5 years with Ferrari, and then of course Max Verstappen just did, I think it was about 1 or 2 weeks ago, announced that he's staying with Red Bull for a further 4 years, and Hamilton could be following suit with a 2-year deal. So really, this F1 2020 transfer win, merry-go-round that we were predicting, this crazy mental, silly season that we were going to get, might not be happening at all, or maybe not as dramatic as what we thought, because of course there are still drivers who contracts currently end at the end of this season. So of course, not just because the big guys are signing big, their deals again, doesn't mean to say that we're going to get a really good silly season, which I think we might. But yeah, so Hamilton, like I said, is in advanced stages. So what do I think of this? I think for me, this is probably the most sensible solution for Hamilton. I mean, leaving the sport, all right, he's got other things he can go off, and go on to. He's achieved everything possible, apart from, of course, the all-time win record, the matching Michael Schumacher in terms of titles, and of course, beating him. And I think podiums, I think he's only got 150 compared to Schumacher's 155. So there is still some records that Hamilton could beat match and beat in 2020, which if he does do so, then chances are he could walk away early. Now, of course, if he signs a contract till 2022, it doesn't mean he will stay there. He might retire at the end of this season if he does win the championship. He might pull off a Rosberg. Who knows? Rosberg signed a contract midway through 2016 and then walked away at the end of the season. So, Hamilton could easily do that. So don't just take my word for it, or don't take anybody else's word for it. Hamilton could still walk away. Going to Ferrari, in my opinion, would be bad news for Hamilton, could say. I mean, I don't know. It just depends where Toto Wolff goes. If Toto Wolff does go to Ferrari, then maybe Hamilton might follow suit. But really, I think Toto Wolff has got a better chance of going to Formula E than Ferrari at this moment in time, with of course with Mercedes. Will Hamilton follow to Formula E? I don't think so. Although, if Hamilton does go to Formula E, what a boost that would be for that sport. Wow, that would be incredible. But I really can't see that happening, unfortunately. Maybe one day he might return as maybe, I don't know, like working behind the scenes as a manager in that team. I really don't know. But yeah, I think for me, Hamilton should stick, sign that contract. But will he stay for that remaining contract? Maybe not. I don't think so. I think if he wins the title and goes to 7, he will definitely stick around for 2021. And if he wins it in 2021, I think he'll walk away then. 8 titles, beating Schumacher's record, being the most successful Grand Prix driver of all time. Yeah, definitely. I think he'll walk away at the end of 2021 if he does win in 2020, of course. So let's just see how it goes first. So yeah, obviously, as ever, leave your opinions about anything that I mentioned in the comment section below. So moving on to the next topic and the next story. Now, this comes from an article from F1 Insider. Now, this is like staying on the Mercedes kind of trend because, you've probably heard recently that Mercedes are threatening to pull out of the sport, and I think several others are as well beyond 2021. So I really don't know what's going on with this. But this kind of article, again, this is just blatant rumours, by the way, guys. These are just rumours. Nothing is guaranteed. This could be a load of rubbish, but I may as well cover it because you never know, it might pull off. The story is that Toto Wolff is currently considering his options should Mercedes pull out of the sport. Now, Bernie Ecclestone told, I think it was an Italian newspaper, or like an Italian news source, that he finds it really strange that Mercedes haven't signed a Concord agreement beyond 2020. Now, a Concord agreement is basically where teams sign this. It's almost like a contract for teams, really. So, like, drivers will sign a 5-year deal with a team, let's say, which more or less guarantees them to be there for at least 5 years. This is like for teams. So, like, Mercedes will sign, sign the Concord agreement for another 5 years or whatever like that. And of course, if they haven't signed the Concord agreement beyond 2020, then therefore they're not going to be in the sport for 2021. That's how that one works. So he finds it really strange that Mercedes haven't signed it, haven't signed beyond that. So he thinks that they're planning to pull out of the sport for that reason alone. So therefore Toto Wolff is considering moving on. Now, there was talk that Toto Wolff was going to be replacing Liberty Media CEO Chase Carey as F1 chief executive for 2021. But Ferrari put a stop to this by implying or putting in a new rule where basically if you work within a team, you've got to wait at least 3 years before you can work in the hierarchy in Formula One, which of course Liberty Media approved. So that rules that move out. Apparently he was really, really close to signing a deal with them, but now he can't be able to do that for another 3 years because Ferrari put this rule in place. But Jean Todt is the FIA president, so yeah. Let's not go down that road. Let's not open up that can of worms. So now he's considering his options. Of course, he's got the likes of Ferrari he could go to. It's going to take a lot more Ferrari to overturn there. He might go there, have a new challenge, and of course there is that move to Formula E. But and this is where the point eventually comes up to. There is another option where Lawrence Stroll is reportedly, going to buy a 20% stake in the car manufacturer Aston Martin, who currently have a partnership deal, a title sponsor deal with Red Bull. He's going to reportedly buy a 20% stake within the car manufacturer, come into Formula One, and bring it in as a full constructor. Now, originally, it was going to be raised to the point that he was going to be taken over, but he's thinking about teaming up with Toto Wolff and taking over the Mercedes team should they drop out of Formula One in 2021. So, yeah, very, very odd, I would say. Well, maybe not odd, but certainly random. I wasn't expecting this at all. I mean, Lawrence Stroll, billionaire, took over the Force India Racing Point team midway through 2018, got a consortium together, bought out the team, saved some jobs. Yeah, brilliant. Of course, employed his son Lance within the team to drive. So therefore, if this does pull off and Mercedes become Aston Martin and Lawrence Stroll jumps from Racing Point to here, then I would more or less assume that Lance would be going there as well. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Let's see how that pans out. Really, right? This is the confusing thing. Now, before I mentioned that Hamilton is reportedly going to be signing a new 2-year deal, but therefore, if Mercedes do pull out of Formula One, then what's Hamilton signed the contract for then? Like, who's he signed it with then? That's really, really strange if that's the case. So therefore, I'm reading kind of two different articles. So one of them has to be maybe false. I mean, both of them could be true, and Hamilton could stick around and, see out the transaction from Mercedes to Aston Martin. That's possible, but I really don't know. I don't know where this is going, if I'm totally honest. I literally seen this article and I was just like, wow, this is a really interesting read. And apparently Lawrence Stroll and Toto Wolff are already working together hard behind the scenes to take over the Mercedes team for 2021. So, I mean, it would be nice to see Aston Martin come in as a car manufacturer, which I really think they should. I think instead of being a title sponsor, they should be in as a team. We discussed this as well on our F1 Worldwide podcast on F1 Fanatics, which I'll leave a link to in the description below, so go and check it out, where we talk about new F1 teams and all that. Really, really good really, really good video to record, and of course, if you're over there, go and subscribe to them. So if Lawrence Stroll comes in and takes over the Mercedes team with Aston Martin, I would more or less believe that he would leave Racing Point and maybe give it to someone else to take over, who is a part of that consortium, maybe have a bigger stake within the team. He might sell his share to someone else, or he might still have a stake in the team. He might just give the role to somebody else while he and Wolff concentrate on working with Aston Martin within Formula One. And another point as well, I think Mercedes have won more or less everything that there is to win in Formula One. Toto Wolff, he's been at the top, won everything as team principal. It's been absolutely incredible what he has achieved. So the question is though, why would Mercedes constantly throw money at a team that has won everything? Which is a very fair point, because Mercedes came into the sport to do what they've done. They've broken records. Hamilton's on the brink of becoming the most successful driver of all time. Mercedes have beaten Ferrari's record of 6 consecutive drivers and constructors world championships in a row. No other team has done that, and no other team has had a better start to an F1 season than Mercedes in 2019, when they won the first 5 races as a 1-2, which is just madness, absolutely madness. So Mercedes might be going, well, we've got Formula E. They might put one eye on that and probably invest more in that division, which, to be fair, I wouldn't disagree with that one. Sean from the F1 Word, he also said this to me at the Autosport show, because he was saying, well, the future of the car, obviously future of cars is electric, so therefore Mercedes could be doing their research within Formula E to put in their road cars for the future. So, of course, the future is Formula E, really, not Formula One in that sense. So, really, that makes sense in that way. But I would think Mercedes are probably more than likely to leave Formula One. Will it be next season? I really don't know whether they can get a deal together or not. But of course, like I said, the Concord Agreement has not been signed yet. So let's see how that one pans out. Really, I would like to see Aston Martin in, but I would also like to see Mercedes in the team within Formula One. I would like to see as many teams in F1 as possible. But if it had to be one or the other, I would like to see Aston Martin in F1. Mercedes have done what they do, have done everything what they can do. Let's give it to someone else. Let's see if, I don't know, Toto Wolff is the real deal and he can bring a new team in, Aston Martin, and let's see if Lawrence Stroll can construct a really good winning team and get Aston Martin to the same standard as what Mercedes are today. Now, we all like a new Grand Prix, don't we? We're like going to new locations. Like recently we've been to Azerbaijan, we returned to Austria, Russia came on the calendar recently, and of course we've got 2 new races. Well, one returning race, of course, the Dutch Grand Prix, and Vietnam, they're coming into the fold. But there's also rumours of another Grand Prix that could be coming into the mix. One at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that neither. I mean, Saudi Arabia is like the growing country of the world right now, aren't they? I mean, with the oil and everything like that. They've had some really big sporting events recently. Of course, they had the Anthony Joshua fight, which happened in Diriyah, the same location as the Formula E, the Saudi Arabian Prix, I think it's called, again at Diriyah. So, of course, holding big sporting events there. They are planning to hold more events over in Saudi Arabia, and including a Formula One event. Now, the plan basically is to have a Grand Prix track going around a theme park. So like you have like roller coasters going over the track, which would look quite cool. I think the overall spectacle of it will be absolutely beautiful. The track, I'm not too sure, but Helmut Tilke isn't going to be designing the track. It's apparently going to be designed by Alexander Wirtz, a former F1 driver, and of course a guy who is part of the committee, in Formula One. He's going to be designing the track, which is a bit, I mean, all right, give it a go. Let's see what he can do. He was a Grand Prix driver after all. He knows what he wants in it. He knows how to make a Grand Prix track exciting. So if the deal does go ahead, I don't know. Let's see what he can do. It could be a really interesting track, but I can't see the attendance being high. I can't see the track. I mean, I can't see the racing being overly brilliant. But then again, this is just me saying it now because, for example, you look at the likes of Abu Dhabi, which, don't get me wrong, the spectacle and the scenery is incredible. Probably the best in Formula One, in my opinion. It's beautiful over in Abu Dhabi. The racing track, however, not that good, is it? So they have to get both things right. Do we need a race in Saudi Arabia? Maybe not. Realistically, we'll probably need a race in the likes of South Africa or Africa in that sense, because F1, it's saying that it's a global sport, but we don't go to every single continent. We don't go to Africa, so we need a race there. There's talk of another race in America, of course, the US of A. Liberty Media, being American, they want to have another race there. There's talk of a race in Argentina, bringing that back. Portugal, I think there's another one on there, and I think there's someone else. I don't know off the top of my head, but those are kind of the rumours that are floating about. Of course, F1 are trying to make the calendar 25. Well, I say 25 races. They're saying that the limit is 25, but in my opinion, I think that's the target. Secretly, that's the target, 25, which is way too much. But that's for another day. That's for another day. So, in my opinion, do we need to go to Saudi Arabia? No, it's not going to attract any major attention. I mean, it might bring in a few more money and stuff like that, but that's all it is at the end of the day for money sense. Will we find the next world champion there? No. I really don't think so. And also as well, just quickly as well, this week, Nicholas Latifi revealed his race number. Of course, he signed with Williams for 2020, replacing Robert Kubica. He's going with number 6. Sound familiar? Yeah, last guy who raced with number 6 in Formula One won a world championship. So therefore, Nicholas Latifi confirmed as 2020 world champion. I mean, he's already won Rookie of the Year, so give him the world championship. Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. But anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching as well. Hopefully, you will be watching this and it will not be any more mistakes on my side. Hopefully, the editing software has held out. If you have enjoyed, then please give it a like as well. And of course, comment below about anything I talked about. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know what you think about everything in the comment section below. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.